Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to Record Breakers, your fun book club for music, where the four of us gather together and share music with each other, take turns, and give our thoughts. Here with me, of course, I'm Petey Rape, your man with no plan. Here with me, of course, is my quorum, my team. We've got Brett.
Hey. Hi.
We've got Patrick.
What's up?
And we've got Drew.
Hey.
Yeah. We're here to talk about music. The provider of the music this week is me. I decided to provide a relatively freshly released album by a very, kind of buzzed about, super talented rapper, artist, and super smart gal, super cool smart gal, by the name of Sammus. She's making her headway amongst the nerdcore community, and we're talking about her latest album, full-length album called Pieces in Space. I'll start with, I don't know, it's gonna be hard. I'll start with Brett. Brett, what were your expectations coming into this album?
To peek behind the curtain, it was not Friday night that I was like, crap, it's Friday night. Petey, what do I have to listen to? I completely forgot. And then I quickly learned. I had no, it's like Sammus, like that there's too many M's. And then that's weird. What is this? What am I going to get into? I had no clue. I did not expect even looking at this from the outside, I didn't exactly expect what I got. I mean, you can broadly paint it as part of a genre, but it sort of hangs out in another world. So
yeah, we'll get into that. Patrick, what expectations did you have coming into this album?
So I had heard a Sammus song or two, but that was it. I was aware it was, vaguely nerdcore hip hop by a young black woman, and I knew this much, little tiny bit, but I had never really listened to it enough to have an opinion on it.
Mm-hmm. Drew, what expectations did you have?
Well, when I was a kid, it was really confusing. So, I was really interested to come back and... Oh, wait, the music. Okay. So, Pieces in Space. Sammus was somebody I heard about, but I hadn't heard much of. So I was really interested to get into what made it tick, because it's nerdcore. I usually dig on nerdcore, but it was just something that I hadn't really dove into. So,
yeah, this is the full length album by Sammus. After she kind of released a couple of songs previously from this album, has been performing at least a couple of these songs for a while now, just in different forms. And finally this year, she kind of I believe she even kickstarted this one. Yeah, she launched a Kickstarter for this one, I believe. And it was fun and it was really cool. Pieces in Space. Yeah, musically, she is connected to the nerdcore community. She's very smart. She's very emotional, but she's very smart. She uses her kind of nerd upbringing as kind of a big inspiration for a lot of what she writes about. But she also uses the fact that she's a young, intelligent black woman as part of her upbringing. She's very good friends with Mega Ran. And if you know Mega Ran, it makes sense that they get along and would gravitate towards each other, and she would be somebody that Mega Ran would seek out and gravitate towards, because they're both people who are nerds, who are connected to the nerdcore community, and will write nerd related music, but will also just create regular hip hop with that being part of what makes up who they are. Write regular hip hop of growing up a nerd, or other things about their upbringing, things like that. It's very honest, this album. It's very emotional. It's very kind of personal. It's similar in many ways to what we talked about with a few of the songs when we talked about Mega Ran's Forever Famicom, which unfortunately Drew wasn't there for. And we apologize again. I will give you a chance to talk about Mega Ran in the future. Trust me. But yeah, similar to that, where it's not just it's not just nerd rap, but it's a nerd rapping about being a nerd or being other things. And yeah, it's good hip hop. I'll toss it to you guys, Brett. What would be the themes elements that caught your attention on this record?
Shocker. This is an album by a young black woman describing the world from her perspective. If you listen to the album already, you know that. It is very clear about what it is about, and it's very direct in letting you know from the get-go what you're going to sort of get. This album, it hits on social issues, and it shows you how it is a different album and tells you how it is a different album than what I was expecting. It's very it's very different, but it uses pop culture references and personal stories to sort of explain and tell the tales that it does. It's very it's somewhat biographical. A lot of the songs that aren't directly stories of yesteryear are more personally affirming. It's an album from an up and comer, so it's a here I come type attitude as opposed to I'm the greatest on the earth. Look at me, I'm the king of the world, looking down on everyone else kind of album. It's not vulgar. I'd call it fairly inoffensive, though it's targeted for adults. It's fairly sex positive, aside from speaking a little bit about promiscuity. But it's a personal diary in lyrical form.
Patrick, what would be the themes elements that caught your attention?
So Brett touched a lot about the subject matter. It's very personal. And I would say if her prior work was pretty firmly nerdcore, this is very nerdcore adjacent. It's not about video games and stuff, although those make an appearance just because, like a lot of us, that's what she grew up with. But this is very much closer to a traditional hip hop record, talking about experiences and stuff and personal things. Musically, I was kind of a little blown away by the production. I thought like the quality of the music was really good. It was varied. There was some stuff that was pretty traditional hip hop, but also, a lot of really nice R&B stuff mixed in there. And sort of the Sammus has her own the way she rhymes, the way she flows, and it works really, really well. It's unique without being like super foreign. If you've grown up with rap music, it doesn't sound weird, but it doesn't sound like other female rappers who came before her. She has her own thing going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I forgot about to touch about the beats. Yeah, the beats are really good and creative, but they don't overpower the vocals, which is a big thing. They make sure what needs to star stars. Drew, how would you describe this album musically? What would be the themes elements?
The first thing that I kind of wanted to cover was the delivery. Her flow and the way she does rhyme scheme is really, really cool. To me, for what she's doing as an artist in general. She uses, to me, at least from what I'm hearing off this record, is a very well-structured delivery, and at times bordering on that almost old-school early rap style of rhyme delivery, which I think is really cool, because what she's trying to do, or at least what it sounds like on this record and the lyrics she's putting forth, is putting a lot of idea and a lot of her personality and her viewpoint into it, and using that sort of rhyme scheme helps get that point across and makes it easier to emphasize exactly the words that she wants to emphasize to make you feel the importance of those words, which I think is really cool. And that comes from girls studying a PhD. She's obviously very intelligent, and her lyrics come off as such. She is pointed and honest about where she is in the world, and she's, like everyone else here said, she's 3 labels if you're going to describe her: nerdy, black, and female. And she tells you what her world is, being that. And that, to me, creates some of the best rap, is being able to tell your story. At the end of the day, good rap to me is like poetry. You tell the story that you want to tell from your point of view. So you get things like Gamergate, you get things like YouTube comments, you get those video game references, you get nostalgia at times, and those are all things that it's like, yeah, that is who she is. There wasn't ever really like that club banger rap song on this album, but I think that kind of worked to its benefit. That sort of softer and, like I said, at times nostalgia-driven, musically underpinning beat, I think was really cool and sort of helped emphasize her voice, which I think, especially in nerdcore hip-hop, is something that is really cool, and sort of glad it's around.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she emphasizes her voice and her passion, like, kind of honesty, and like telling, you know, who she is and what that matters. Talk about some of the songs, like you touched on the Gamergate. Yeah, she mentions YouTube comments, and comments disabled is one of the key songs. Going right to that, since we touched on it already, where she basically more not specifically talking about Gamergate, but uses it as a thing to mention, but specifically talk about internet trolls and kind of a bit of a dressing down on people who make their, you know, life mission to go online and fucking shit on people's lifestyle, and just say, no, I'm not dealing with your shit. Click, you know, like, shut up, like, go away. Which is really cool and was really well made. And it's a cool song in that, from that regard. And then jumping back to doing the Record Breakers thing, 100%. The opening track does a great job of, from the moment she opens her mouth, announcing her intentions and her opinions on what she brings to rap and what she brings to hip hop and what others should, you know, coming 100%. You know, putting 100% into you know, her style, into her music, which is great, and it's just a great opener because it really defines her style, her personality, the what you're gonna expect from the album, the directness. It's just a fantastic opener. And furthermore, on the emotional front, a song like "Perfect Dark," important that you have the comma there. Perfect Dark, which talks about representation, which is a big thing. You know, growing up being a young black girl and not quite seeing herself in a lot of the media she had consumed, and it's like, yo, what's up with this? Like, you know, commenting on that, and which is really cool, and does it really creatively and does it very honestly. She's been performing this song for a while. And is definitely one of the more emotional moments at her shows. If you've ever seen her perform, like mainly I've seen her at the Nerdcore showcase at South by Southwest, and she performs that song as one of the more raw emotional moments, because especially when the beat drops and she keeps going at the end, where, you know, that part where it's just her, no beat, just her voice, just adding that extra emotion to it. And when she finishes that song, and last delivers that hook, is such a great moment at her shows, and it's still a great moment here on the song. And then another song that it was previously released and is still fantastic. And this one is it was refined with the addition of a feature by rapper Jean Grey. 1080p is a song about seeking help for dealing with life, like seeking help with the stresses of life, dealing with being a young college student, missing your ex, being unsure of yourself, anxiety, stress, depression, and going to talk to somebody, taking your ass to some therapy, and the benefit of that, and how she grew from that, and how she found herself. And it's funny. The joke would be, at this point, everything's moving to 4K, and you wonder, well, why would she see the world in 1080p? But you can also say, she's not saying she sees the world perfectly, but she's a lot better than she was before, Which, if you want to kind of look at it that way, but it's a fantastic track. All right, enough of my gabbing, my babbling. Let's talk to you guys. What tracks you guys feature on? Brett. What would be some of the key tracks for you?
I'll focus in on a couple here. Childhood. For anybody who's not our age, they might not understand that, like, pretty much all American folks of a certain age did pretty much the same thing when it comes to indoor activities, because there wasn't a whole lot of there wasn't enough variety to have that skewed of a different lifestyle. So we have this, all our nostalgia is sort of interlinked, and I think in the future it might not be that way. But this is a song, listing off the hits of pop culture from back when there weren't a whole lot of things to do in your life. And out of the blue in the song comes a modified version of a Weezer song. Another song that sort of stuck with me, Nighttime. It's the anxiety-inspired track of one of them. It really slows things down. They add a modulated, like, church organ with the beat. That's pretty cool. It's mainly lyrically about the stresses of being an artist who has to support themselves in a way that they can live, and how that is not very easy. I mean, we all know people who make their money off of doing stuff like that, and how it has eaten them alive to live off of what they create. And this is a song covering that. The themes of those two songs sort of stuck more than the other. Mind you, I'm sort of fish out of water when it comes to hip hop anyway.
Yeah.
But those are the songs that stuck with me.
Mm-hmm. Patrick, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
Weirdo. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was like a fun song, but also like a girl's not afraid to get serious in her rhymes. Like more than once on this record, really serious, not necessarily pleasant topics are covered, and yet you still want to listen because the thought behind it is so good and the delivery of it's so good. But that one, it had a really good sing-along chorus, and I'm a sucker for that. Perfect Dark. That song, again, serious, but like that song just kicks you in the chest. There's an energy to the vocals and an intensity to it that is hard to ignore, and like it's someone speaking very much from the heart. And then Nighttime is one of those songs that hit me right in the feels because it's very much like it talks about anxiety in a way that I very, very much understand. And I also just really like the music. It had, again, like her production skills. Very rarely do you get someone who can rap this well and produce this well simultaneously. Usually, a lot of times, you do one or the other, and this is someone who does both and does both extremely well.
Mm-hmm. Drew, what would be some of the key tracks for you?
Well, I gotta go with 100% real quick. There's something about the vocal backing, the singing in the back of the verse, mixed with Sammus's rapping. Like, something about that track from the vocal tonality standpoint of those two juxtapositions just worked really well for me. I don't know why, it just automatically hooked me on that alone. Childhood, every like Brett said, it hits the nostalgia beats. I think for anyone who remembers being a sort of nerdy kid at certain times in my life, or certain times of anyone's life, it hits that, and the tonality of the beat pushes that forward very well. The way they sort of mix that and put the effects on that really did well there. And then I usually don't do the closer, but I kind of had to with this one. This whole record has been talking about not only her personal issues, but also like certain world issues and just basic, really intelligent conversation. And she ends it with a song called Qualified, where she's rapping along with a guy named Open Mike Eagle, who is probably one of the smarter guys in like the like art rap scene right now. So like having that song and having those two on like opposing verses and having that be the end, and just that sort of like, yeah, no, I'm here and I'm here to make a force, and that's what I'm like. It's Qualified. Like I don't know. There's something about Qualified that I think was really cool with those two mixed together that just makes something cool. I hope what I want after hearing that is like a Sammus X Open Mike Eagle like split.
Yeah.
Like EP.
Like
that would be dope.
Yeah.
Like that'd be so dope.
Yeah, or they do like Mega Ran Storyville did with freaking oh my god, what's the name of it? It's Soul Veggies, which is a fantastic fucking record, incredible record. Yeah, that would be an amazing split EP. Yeah, let's bring it back around the horn for some conclusive thoughts. Brett, what would be your conclusive thoughts on this album as a whole?
I mean, this album reminds me that it's not a novelty, or there's something that really makes me happy about the fact that music like this is widely available for people, where when I was a teenager, I had to spend cash money for things that were available, and the entire world of art was not given to me on a platter. This is something that would not have existed without, it wouldn't have spread as widely without being able to directly target your audience. And there is a direct audience for this. There are people who can relate. There are people who will really dig this. This music speaks. It didn't really grab me. That's fine. I mean, if you come to me for your hip hop advice, you're already fucked up. But if I'm going to go through this magical journey through hip hop, you might as well too.
Yeah.
Give it a listen. Won't hurt.
Yeah. Patrick, what would be your conclusive thoughts on this album?
This is, I think, going to enter that rarefied space of Petey brings the best stuff sometimes. With when he brought Bad Rabbits, when he brought Love X Stereo, bands that I listen to all the time to this day. This is, I think, joining that rarefied air of stuff I really, really loved. It's one of the best hip hop records I've heard in a while. It's what I think it's already in one of my favorite records of 2016. Not that I like officially make a list, and also this year for me has just not been a great music year, new stuff wise. But this one's really, really good. Everyone should listen to this. This is one of those. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's so good, and the next time she's in Austin, I'm gonna have to go.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna be. I know for sure she's gonna be at South by. So there's gonna be a Nerdcore showcase. So
hopefully it won't conflict with anything this time, because last time I forget what conflicted with it that I couldn't go.
Work, I think, at best.
Yeah, something. There was some reason I couldn't go, and it was stupid.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Nerdcore showcase South by. Everyone should go. Nerdcore is awesome, and that's a fun show. Do you see the all-star game of Nerdcore hip hop in one venue for like
the all-star game doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Home field advantage.
Never mattered, Drew.
Home field advantage.
It never really mattered.
Didn't they take that away?
Yeah, that went away. It's going away in the future.
Well,
yeah.
Starting in 2017.
Didn't work out well this time either, but yeah.
But you know what? there's one All-Star game that matters, and that is the Nerdcore Showcase at South by Southwest.
The Spring Classic, yeah.
Yes. But yeah.
What about Winter
Drew.
Classic?
True.
Are we going to keep naming sports things?
Yes.
Like
Sports.
this week on Sports Breakers.
Yes. Oh God.
Don't force us.
Conclusive thoughts, Drew.
No, but like I said, Nerdcore is a thing that I enjoy from time to time because I like rap music from time to time. I am also a nerd, so therefore those two intersections meeting is never a bad thing for me. So this is an album that I was already deemed that I was probably going to like anyways when I went into it. The cool thing is that, like I said, she's a smart lady rapping about like personal things, and like Brett said at the beginning, the world around her as she sees it from her prism, which is cool. This is a thing that now that I have heard what she can deliver, it's going to be something that I'm going to probably search out more of, which after I'm done listening to something on this, there's two types of things. There's the thing where I'm like, okay, so that's over. What's the next album we're doing? And then there's something like Bad Rabbits. When the new album comes out, I get really pumped. So this is going to be one of those things where down the line, I'm going to keep my ears open for more. So
keep your eyes open for shows where she's going to be at, because it might even be a double bill with the Double Clicks, which is an odd pairing, but I imagine a fun show. Yeah.
Although that sounds like a show one of the local Akron joints would put on. So
yeah.
I could probably
yeah, it'd still be. I would imagine it's worth a shot. But yeah, Sammus is fantastic. She's such a talented rapper, such a talented producer, so smart, so honest, so kind of hard on her sleeve. If you've met her in person, you know that you get that like her heart is on her sleeve, and she's a big personality, and she has a wonderful, huge smile, and she's fantastically talented, and she's got the world ahead of her. And this is a great showcase of what she is and who she is, both professionally and emotionally. And this is just a fantastic record overall. Like, this is so many cool songs, so many personal songs that really get into kind of who she is. This is, like we said, this is a little bit more of Nerdcore adjacent, which I like the idea of, like, some, we're getting to a time where being a nerd doesn't tie you down to a novelty genre anymore. If you want to make music, being a nerd can be something that influences you, and you can just make hip hop, which, not to say that Nerdcore has necessarily always been, or necessarily has to be, a novelty genre, but as it grows, many of the artists that are doing more than just what people expect superficially of Nerdcore are less being surprised, less surprising people less. That's a sentence. And it's really cool, and like it like, yeah, and the fact that Megaran is doing cool things out on that regard, Sammus is doing this, and elsewhere, it's just fantastic. Go listen to this record. I don't know if I did a good job of explaining how good this record is, but you should just go listen to it. You should have already listened to it. It is fantastic, fun, and really cool, and really thoughtful, and really interesting. But yeah, those are our thoughts on the album. Let's get down to our haiku reviews of the album. Let's see. Let's go same order. Brett, what is your haiku?
A look in the mind. A different take this time. A view I've not seen.
Patrick, what is your haiku?
This is very good. Go listen to it right now. Seriously, go.
Yes. Drew, what is your haiku?
Intelligent craft with some great flow and wordplay. Great voice in genre.
My haiku. Smart, honest hip hop from a great young talent with tons of potential. Yeah, go listen to the album right now. Do it. Just go. You can of course find it on our Spotify playlist. Play Record Breakers as a home game. Follow along with us at home. Come on, just do it. Listen to the album right now. Also on that Spotify playlist is going to be next week's album. Next week it's going to be provided by Patrick. Patrick, what do you got for us next week?
I'm picking an album that I got from my guitar teacher on cassette tape when I was like 15 years old and never gave back. Rage Against the Machine and their self-titled debut album.
And that's going to be a fun discussion next week, so stay tuned for that. But that's next week, and this is this week. You can, of course, find us all over the internet. Patrick is at the Swagger. Brett is at HeyBittyBearbird, HIBBITYBIBBARD. Drew's at XDrewSuperX. I'm at PD Rave. The show's at 4 Record Breakers. That's the number 4 Record Breakers. RecordBreakersPodcast.com. RecordBreakersPodcast@gmail.com if you want to email us. Rebellia.net for this and other shows. Rebellia TV on YouTube. All over the place. We're on iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on everywhere you can find podcasts. We're on Google Play even. Just go out and subscribe, like, share, do the things. Until next time. Hasta los huevos.
Toodaloo.